Listen, decluttering is already tiring and time consuming enough without making it worse for yourself. But wouldn't it be great if someone could just tell you exactly what to do? Well, you're in luck, because every month I share 10 things that you can declutter, just to take the guesswork out of what to get rid of. You just follow the list, easy peasy. Let's go. Hi guys, it's Laura and I help you live a simpler, happier, more spacious life. And first on this list is greetings cards. Now, if you're anything like I used to be, you hoard these things. Like, you have every single one you have ever received. But I have since learned my lesson and I have whittled them down. And now what I do, and this may help you as well, is to only keep the ones that either are very meaningful, have a very meaningful message in them, or the most recent one that I have received from someone. Let's face it, not all of these cards that we receive are from people that we love and cherish. They're not all from our nearest and dearest. For example, we still get a Christmas card from our realtor. Like, every year, he's a great guy, but we haven't seen him or spoken to him in years. And the same is probably true for you. There's probably some company or somebody that you worked with years ago that still sends you a Christmas card so that their business is top of mind for you. Maybe old acquaintances that you haven't seen or even thought about in years, but out of habit, they still send you a Christmas card every year, or a birthday card or something like that. You really don't need to keep those. I mean, keep them for the season if you'd like and display them and whatever, but after that, feel free to send them on their merry way. You can recycle them, or you can chop them up and let the kids make like gift tags or something out of them, but don't let them sit around your home and just act as kindling like a fire hazard and getting in the way of all of the other more meaningful, sentimental, close to your heart cards. Next up then is anywhere you would write down random pieces of information. So you may have an old address book where you have people's addresses, phone numbers, etc. Old notebooks, even scraps of paper, little post-it notes, all those types of things. These all accumulate over the years, particularly if you love stationery like I do. But a lot of the information in them is no longer relevant or valuable, or you maybe don't even remember what it is. I was a terror back in the day for just like writing down random numbers. It could have been a phone number, it could have been a reference number, but I didn't put any context there, or not enough that I would remember what I meant. So I might write down like Mary and a number, and then 6 weeks later I'm like, who is Mary? Just do yourself a favor now and consolidate and or digitize all of it. That way the information that you actually need, you know where it is, and it's all in one central place, easily accessible to you, and you're not rifling through a stack of papers and a stack of post-it notes trying to find that one reference number or that one piece of information that you desperately need. Seriously though, how adorable is this little notebook cover from Chic Sparrow? Love it. Will not be decluttering this, ever. Literally just an empty notebook in here, nothing written in that at all, but I will treasure it forever. Next is a really sneaky one, and I bet you have tons of this and you don't even realize, and that is all of your save for later digital media. So I am talking, shows that you've saved to a watch later list, YouTube subscriptions, podcasts, all those types of things. Maybe you've got a feed reader, all your bookmarks, for like sites or social posts that you wanted to save. Listen, you already know that your time is limited. You are not going to watch all of those shows, listen to all of those podcasts, read all of those blog posts. There just isn't enough time, and it's so easy to see something and think, oh, that's kind of interesting, I might watch that later, or I might want to refer back to this. And you save it. It's like click of a button stuff, and that's how the list expands and grows ever longer. Just go quickly through one of those lists and get rid of anything that you are not actually excited about consuming. Like I said, your time is valuable. Don't waste it on things that you're really kind of like wishy-washy or a bit meh on. The media that you are consuming should be adding some value to your life, whether that is pure entertainment value or whether it is, you know, good information, but it should be exciting and inspiring and something that you actually want to watch and something that is not going to be just a waste of your time. Yes, it was easy to add all of those things with the click of a button, but it's also easy to remove all of those things with the click of a button. Not only are you going to save yourself time, you know, the next time you want to watch a show, you don't have to scroll through hundreds of things that you're actually not really interested in, but you're also going to save yourself the time of not having to actually watch or consume any of that stuff. Double win. In case you can hear a weird noise, the dog is gnawing away on a bone here beside me. She's not feeling very well today, so I'm just gonna leave her to it. But next on the list is a very frustrating one. Ugh, it is all of your writing implements. Listen, these end up all over the house, like they're everywhere until you actually need one, then never to be seen again, or you do find one and it doesn't work. It's just incredibly frustrating. So whip around your home right now, gather up all of the writing implements you can find, and then actually test them. Throw out all of the ones that don't work or that you're just not going to use, and then try and keep them all in one place, bar one or two in the places where you actually need them. So for example, I keep one in the car because I always seem to need a pen when I'm out and about. I keep one in the kitchen for signing like homework things and forms and all that sort of thing, and everything else one place in my office. Really quick and simple one to declutter, and one that is going to save you a lot of heartache, tears, anger down the line. We'll move upstairs for this next one, but like writing implements, they're one of those things that are never there when you need them, or if they are, they don't work. Batteries. Personally, I use mostly rechargeable batteries now, but my husband does not like them because they don't last very long, and there are some of them like these that aren't really rechargeable at all. They're just an awkward size, but there should be like a universal battery. You know the way they're changing phones now, so all the chargers are universal, like you can't have a million different chargers for a million different phones. They really should do that with batteries, just like one battery to rule them all. They also, like, have you ever noticed they come in packs of like 2 or 4 or whatever, but you always need 3. You always need an odd number of the awkward batteries. Anyway, personally, I would recommend rechargeable batteries. I find them great. Yeah, again, they don't last quite as long as the non-rechargeable ones, but if you're charging them up on a very regular basis, that's not going to be an issue. But here is a quick, easy way to tell whether a battery that you have left actually still has a charge in it or whether it is dead and you can recycle it. You grab your battery, you find yourself a nice hard surface, and you drop the battery on it. If it bounces, it is like a little bouncy ball. In other words, it is full of air and nothing else. You can go ahead and recycle those ones, but if on the other hand it pretty much immediately falls flat, that means it is solid, it is full of charge. Really quick and easy way to discern which batteries you can declutter, because not all of us have those testery things and you don't want to be like putting them into remote controls and various things to see if they work. No, just use your drop test to see what you can declutter. Another thing then that just tends to accumulate over the years is vases, or things that you would use as a vase, like a mason jar or something. I want to tell you a story that may make you hate me, but my husband is very good with the flowers, particularly if he goes away somewhere, like if he's traveling for work. He will usually have flowers delivered to the house, but he will also get them on random occasions as well, just as a nice, thoughtful gift. Actually, funny story, he was away once and he had flowers, like 2 different bunches of flowers delivered in kind of like close proximity to each other, and the second time they were delivered, it was the same guy who delivered them. So I opened the door, he handed me the flowers, I thanked him, he laughed, but my daughter was there and she looked at me and she was like, "That man is so nice to you." Bless her, she thought it was this like random guy just bringing me flowers. Anyway, one of the kind of side effects of getting lots of flowers is that you can often get lots of vases with them. So I eventually went through my collection and I decluttered all of the rest of them, all of the ones that I knew I was never going to use, and I donated them so that someone else can get the use out of them. Listen though, don't wait around for someone else to buy you flowers, buy them for yourself. you deserve it. Just make sure that you are decluttering, donating the vase afterwards if you know you're not going to use it. Can't talk about this one without admitting that I have a problem. But if you've been here for any length of time, you're probably already very familiar with it. Books. But specifically, books that you know you're not going to read, like, you know, in your heart of hearts, you're never going to get around to reading it. I used to believe that, you know, in order to be taken seriously as a bookworm, or in order for me to consider myself a bookworm, I had to read classic literature. And I tried, like, really, hand on heart, I tried for a while, but no, it's just not for me. Like, years ago, and this, I'm sure, is sacrilege to a lot of the book community, but The Handmaid's Tale ruined reading for me for a long time. I did not enjoy that book at all, and you know, I finally came back around to reading after a few years, and then I dove into War and Peace, and that was my second mistake. Ugh. I don't know why I forced myself to read it. It was a struggle. I really hated it, And so I have just come to accept that I am not a classic literature person. I'm not a person who enjoys highbrow reading. But that doesn't make me any less of a bookworm, but obviously we all have books that we believe, you know, we like to tell ourselves that we are going to get around to reading someday, but really we're just not. A few months ago I shared a short video where I talked about library books, which are a particular vice of mine because they're just so easy to borrow. Loads and loads of them. At least when you buy a book you have the kind of constraints of your budget, whereas at the library, particularly here in the States, where you can borrow an unlimited number of books, which is amazing but also crazy and is fueling my addiction. I just borrow so many library books. So recently I had to go through them and I whittled them down by asking myself, which of these books am I actually excited to read? Like, so many books seem interesting. You know, I read the little blurb, I'm like, I might enjoy that book, but which are the ones that I'm actually excited, truly excited about reading? Which are the ones that I want to pick up right now and read? And that is how I was able to whittle down my collection. Now, it's still not like a teeny tiny collection or anything, especially like we talked about earlier, the wish list books. Yeah, if you look at my library app where you can like save books to your wish list, I have almost 800 books saved there. I have been going through and whittling that down also, but yeah, this is something that I also need to work on, but I have been working on it. Still more work to do, but I'm getting there. But don't fool yourself. Don't let books that you're never going to read take up space. Donate them and let somebody else get the joy from them. I'm sure there is somebody somewhere out there who likes War and Peace. It just ain't me, folks. It ain't me. Another thing that just ain't for me is fine jewelry, anything of quality like that. Like, no, just give me all the cheap and cheerful. You hear the geese outside? We always know spring is coming because the geese land on our roof. They become our alarm clock come spring. It's just like about 7 a.m. every morning there is this thump on the roof and then just constant honking. Even though it is mildly annoying, I still look forward to it every year because it means that the temperatures are finally rising and I am about to soak up all of the sunshine. But anyway, yeah, jewelry, if you're not wearing it or if it's not your style, or maybe it was your style at one point in time, but we all grow and evolve, and if it's just not working for you anymore, feel free to donate it or pass it along to another family member. Maybe you've got a child or a grandchild or a sibling or a niece or nephew or something that would really love it. Jewelry is another one of those things that my husband likes to buy me regularly, or at least he did, but I think he's realized now that I don't really wear a huge amount of jewelry, so a lot of it just sits here. Obviously a huge amount of it though is sentimental, which I will say, if you have sentimental pieces, by all means you can keep them, but maybe separate them out from your regular jewelry. Like if they're sentimental but you don't really wear them, separate them out so that when you're looking for something to wear, oh, here comes the doggy. Hello. Hi, how you feeling? Oh, How's my baby? Yeah, so when you're looking for something to wear, you don't have to go through lots of sentimental pieces to find something that you actually will wear on a day-to-day basis. Hello, how are you? Yes, you sit down. Oh, good girl. Yes, hello. Speaking of cheap and cheerful then, loungewear or pajamas. Again, I don't want any of that silk fancy stuff. Nah, just give me like the cheap cotton or the fleecy fluffy stuff and I'm good. But depending on which hemisphere you're in, you're probably wearing more or less of these right now, or maybe you are switching between bulkier, fleecier pajamas and then lighter, more breathable ones. And it's not just pajamas, I'm talking all sorts of loungewear. So it could be robes, it could be fluffy socks. Go through them, and if there's something there that has seen better days, it's probably time to just pass on it. Now listen, I'm not one of these people who thinks that your loungewear should be like top quality, beautiful stuff. If you're just slouching around your house, I think it's perfectly fine to wear something that has a few holes in it, or maybe like a stretched elastic. A-okay by me, but if something is more of a rag than anything, maybe just go ahead and officially downgrade it to rag. Also, don't let anyone tell you that your stuff is out of season. I wear my elf pajamas and my Santa socks all year round. You even see me here? I have no idea. Anyway, next one is outdoor stuff, outdoor decor, furniture, all that stuff that gets grotty and grubby and covered in pollen. It just doesn't look its best after a while. Go through it, get rid of all of the broken gnomes, the like solar lights or the fairy lights that you're just not using. Okay, calm down. Anything that basically isn't adding to your enjoyment of your property, anything that has become a burden because you just have to clean it all of the time. If you don't love it, let it go. I love you though. Now, if for some reason you still feel like something is slowing you down or stalling your progress, it might be because of one of these decluttering secrets. Go see if that is what is stopping you from making the progress that you want to make. And until next time, go raibh míle maith agaibh. Agus feici mé sibh se go luath. Slán!